Hi guys, welcome to Delaware Studios. Let's get to talk about Kotlin on Android using Android Studio, a new form of language built on top of Java for developing Android apps called Kotlin has come to stay. Kotlin is expressive, concise, extensible, powerful, and a joy to read and write programming language. It has wonderful features in terms of nullability and immutability. It is interoperable with existing Android languages and runtime like Java and C++. The Kotlin plugin is bundled with Android Studio starting from version 3.0. If you're using the earlier version, you will need to install the Kotlin plugin. So we're actually going to be installing Kotlin on two different Android Studio versions. The 3.0, which is at 3 at beta in the present time of recording, and also in the later version we'll be using 2.3. So let's get started. Right there in Android Studio 3.0, we have the Welcome to Android Studio screen. From here you can start up a new project, you can open up an existing project, you can do some other aspects from the Android Studio environment. We're actually going to be starting a new project and we'll be configuring Kotlin inclusively. So let's start up a project. Click on Start a New Project. And if you notice, we have the option to include C++ support or to include the Kotlin support. Now you check on the Include Kotlin support. After that, you click on Next. Click on Next. We opt for an empty activity and click on Next. So your activity name, just like what we used to have, and also the layout name. We maintain that as main activity and activity main XML. You click on Finished to actually set up the application. So we're actually going to wait for a few seconds to actually get that build up, and we'll get back to the files with here we go with our application built up and some processes are actually running. If you notice, we have our main activity as .kt, which is .kotlin, and we have a kind of different syntax, which is quite different from what we used to have in Java, where we have the extend, app compact, and so on. We'll get to talk about Kotlin syntax in the second part or in later tutorials. But at present, we want to get ourselves ready to configure Kotlin in Android Studio. This is Android Studio 3.0 and you have Kotlin embedded out of the box with Android Studio 3.0. We'll be looking at other aspects, which is the 2.3 series or the later version, where we need to download the JetBrains plugin and integrate that with Android Studio. So we have the application set, just the normal hierarchy we used to have, the Java classes, the main activity, which is .kt, .kotlin. Our Gradle scripts still right intact. The build Gradle still points to dependencies used, still maintain all what we have. So all Android libraries are still working. And if you should notice, we have the implementation instead of compile that we used to have. Implementation, the JetBrains Kotlin, and the version we're using. So some syntax will actually change, and we'll get to talk about all those syntax in later tutorials. The main activity is right on course, and we have it set, which you can also run. Once you run that, you have your hello world, just the startup of any Android program. The activity may still remains with the XML. Let's get to look at that, which we have right there. The normal XML layout, nothing is changing. The logic is just what we have that changed. Let's get look at the manifest. Maybe we'll have any other flow. Cool. The manifest still maintains its markup. So we have that set up. So now we'll actually head straight to Android Studio 2.3 to configure Kotlin. using the backward compatibility with other Android Studio. So for you to configure Kotlin with Android Studio version lower than 3.0, you have to go through the steps. Right there in the Welcome to Android Studio screen, you click on the configure. I'm actually using Android Studio version 2.3.3 to enumerate this analysis. You click on configure and you opt for the plugins. Once you click on plugins, you have a list of a bunch of plugins to actually install. You're actually going to opt for one, which is the install JetBrains plugin over here. You click on that and you have that right there, and you can easily search for Kotlin over there. Can you see it right there? And you install this particular plugin. So you click on the install and it's actually going to download the Kotlin plugin and get that set up. And you also need to restart Android Studio after you might have downloaded the plugin so that you have that set up with the Android Studio environment. So we'll get back after downloading and also restarting Android Studio. So I've had an Android Studio restarted. Now I'm going to start a new project. Click on Start a New Project. Let's call it Kotlin Test. Click on Next. Next. Go for an empty activity and finish up. So afterwards, we're going to have a main activity.java, which we can actually convert to Kotlin. So we're actually going to do that, and at the same time we'll need to configure Kotlin for the whole project. So let's actually have that built up, and we'll get to actually get that done after it's matter built. So we have to exercise little patience to have that set up. Now we have the project set up. We have the main activity to Java. So for us to actually start working with Kotlin, we need to convert the main activity to a Kotlin package. So we head straight to the code, convert Java file to Kotlin file. You click on this, and you have that converting. So you have to actually going to pass those tests. You have that set up, and see that the whole syntax have changed, and you have the Kotlin syntax right working. So if you're trying to edit, and you'll notice you have Kotlin not configured, so you need to configure this particular project for Kotlin. So you need to actually click on this, and all modules containing Kotlin files, or just a single module, probably you just want to convert some portion of your application to Kotlin and still maintain some Java classes. You can actually work with Java classes with Kotlin. So let's opt for all modules containing Kotlin files. So you click on OK, and you're actually going to have that configured, and you sync Gradle. So once you get straight to your Gradle scripts, which is the build Gradle, you'll notice that the compile has been added, which you can have here. Can you see that? With the Kotlin version. So with this now, you have your application set and ready to start writing Kotlin syntax inclusively with Java. So that doesn't mean Java is left out or Java is no more functional. It's just a built up layer on top of Java, which actually helps your iteration work faster, and it's actually helping your program. It makes your code more cleaner, and most developers are embracing the Kotlin programming language for Android. So I will implore you to also take a peep and take a dive into Kotlin, set up Kotlin with Android Studio. Any version you're using could actually integrate Kotlin, and it's actually bundled with the Android Studio 3.0. Even if you are using the later version, you can follow the steps they actually did. So simple, and get yourself acclimatized and rolling with Kotlin. In subsequent videos, we're actually going to be diving deeper into Kotlin syntax. Let's get to understand more about Kotlin. Thank you guys for now, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a blessed time.